how I lost my bet with God and how pretty much he forced me to start this YouTube channel. I fought it for over a decade, but that little voice inside was just gnawing away and said I had enough. I'm done. I'm going to do it. I was born and raised Catholic, the whole 9 yards. Did Catholic school, all of it. And it was all fine and dandy coming up as a kid, but then I reached a point in my life where, me and religion, really started to have our differences. And it wasn't in ways that you might think. And that's what I want to share with you today, because the life decisions that I wanted to make for myself in the direction I wanted my life to go never really aligned too well with what the church was teaching me. This isn't big things. These are small things that have kind of been built up over time. Me and church, we never got along. We were oil and water, if that makes any sense, right? No matter how many times you blend it, and I know you tried always blending it, it doesn't work, right? I was that kid who's knocking the books out of the pew, pulling my sister's hair, right? All that. Just every time I was there, I was just so restless. Like I just couldn't wait to get out. Like I knew it in my bones. If there was one thing that I was not meant for, being a church kid was it. Now, I know I'm not the only one that has that. I mean, who likes to sit there, in church for that 1 hour and you're just like, let's go, right? I would be the kid who's just like counting the minutes. And I spent more time in the back of the church than I did in the church, in the pew. I was in a cry room, baby. My dad was like, let's go, we're gone, taking you out. I realized for myself that I wanted to live a life kind of based upon where my faith would lead me. We're all taught about faith. We're all taught we have faith. And there was a part of me that said, you know what? There's a lot of things in this world that I think I'm not being taught when it comes to God, when it comes to the truths in the Bible. And I graduated from college and, being born and raised Catholic, my destiny was already predetermined for me. Like, if I'm going to marry a girl, it's got to be a Catholic girl. My kids are going to be raised Catholic, so on and so forth. And the more I sat in the pew, the more I realized the life I didn't want, if that makes any sense. It showed me the religious life or the spiritual life that it wasn't making sense to me. And I learned that a lot of decisions that I wanted to make started to naturally select me out of the pew. After college, graduated, shiny new degree, failed miserably at pretty much every job that I took. And there were jobs for the wrong reasons. I knew that I shouldn't be taking them, and I did it anyway, and I lasted as long as I could. And I reached a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I want to go out there into the world, and I just want to go. I'm tired of everybody telling me what they think and telling me what to believe in. I'm a grown man at this point, but still felt like a little child inside. It's almost like religion never let me grow up in the ways that I wanted to grow up. So I made a decision one day. I was like, you know what? I'm packing the bag and I'm going to go travel the world. No plans, just money in my pocket, backpack on my back, gone. Whenever the money was gone, I'd come home. And in order for me to make that decision, I realized real quick the power that the church had over me. We always talk about Catholic guilt. Anybody got Catholic guilt? I do. And it's hard for me to talk about this stuff because I want to be like, sorry, Mom, I hope you don't watch this. People are getting their pitchforks ready. Get this guy. The reason I wanted to travel was to prove to myself if what I was taught versus what I read when it comes to, when I say the Bible, I'm pretty much just talking about Jesus in the Gospels. And I don't need to argue about what animals made the ark or not. When you have an existential crisis, I want to get into the nuts and bolts, sort of a deal. All those old school arguments, those are different times and places. And I wanted to prove to myself that what I was reading for myself All the messages in it were true for the way that I saw them. And the only way I could do that was to break free and set myself out into the world. It's the only way. You know, the pressure of just like coming up through the system, I was like, I'm done. Everybody thinks like, you know, when you tell people you traveled, they think you're like a hippie or like a bum, or you're running away from something. It was the exact opposite. I was running toward what I needed to find. And the only way I could find it was to give my soul space to finally breathe so it could kind of clue me in as far as was right and wrong in life. You know, I mean, I knew moral and ethical codes, and we're not talking about any of that. I'm talking about my life never seemed free. Free will was something that didn't exist for me, because every decision when it came to religion was already made. And my job was to follow, carry the torch, pass the torch. Same way my dad did to me, same way that I was probably going to do to my 2 kids. You know, and I didn't have the kids yet, but I saw that in my future, and it scared me. It scared me to the core. I was like, you know what? Golly, man, God gives us this huge kingdom. Why do I feel guilty for wanting to go out there and explore it? Why do I feel guilty? And what it came down to, as childish as this may seem, it all came down to Mass. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's easy for you to be watching this and think, oh, everybody misses church. Don't worry about that, right? Oh, you can go to confession. Got it. But it wasn't about missing Mass. It was about the feeling of missing Mass that was ingrained into me. Feeling like, you know, it was a sin. People telling me it was a mortal sin to willingly and knowingly miss Mass. And, you know, the shame and guilt that was in the back of my mind. I always thought of myself as a pretty tough guy. I grew up playing hockey, played through college. You know, I mean, I had no fear of failing. I was really good at hard work too. Right? You put it in front of me, let's go. You want me to go through a wall? I'll go through it. For me to feel that way, but feel like such a scared little coward on the inside, burned me. It burned me. I go, man, if I die tomorrow, I want to die knowing I did something. I don't want to die living a life where I'm going, oh man, what if, or that would be cool. Man, those people are so lucky that get to do that. Why aren't I one of the lucky ones? And eventually I just had enough of that pain and that fear. I was like, I'm gone. I'm not going to ask for a travel dispensation, right? I'm not going to ask a priest if it's okay. And then I'm not going to ask a priest to forgive me when I get back, because I'm doing nothing wrong. By me going out and following my soul and giving it a chance and using faith to see where it goes, I mean, this was like Jesus at its highest level, right? Going out into the world, or I should say the desert. You know, when he goes out in the desert for 40 days that everybody forgets about, that was me. That was my desert decision. It's like, I'm going out into the desert and I want to see for myself what's going to happen. I don't know what doors are going to open. I don't know what doors are going to close. But I'm not going to sit here and wait, because the thing that I wait for is never coming. Never coming. So I just went out and I was like, screw it, I'm going to go for it. And I went for it. Packed a bag. I had this little New Testament Bible with me. You know, like the ones you get free in the hotel rooms? I had that. And I threw it in my bag. And I went. Because I knew that on my own, and giving myself space on my own to start reading it, it was going to speak to me in different ways. Ways that I couldn't understand by listening to somebody else tell me what they meant. And I tell you what, it was probably one of the proudest moments of my life to be like actually doing it. And when I did it, it's like I couldn't imagine. Like, it was unimaginable. You know, I remember sitting on the plane, looking out the window, and like all I heard in the back of my mind was like the echo of, don't forget to go to church on Sunday. Don't forget to go to church on Sunday. And it was always there. It still is, even to this day. It's something that I still can't 100% get out of my mind. You know, every Sunday I see, it's always there. And when I went out, the truth started speaking to me a little bit differently. Like a lot of the decisions I wanted to make in my life felt okay when it was just me reading this little book by myself, figuring it out for myself. So I went out and I learned a lot of things. I made God a promise. And I said, if I leave and I learn nothing and I have nothing to say, and I will go back to doing what I was doing before. I'll go back to the pew, I'll go back to the church, and I will just be who you say that I need, or who I believe I need to be for you by other people telling me what to believe. But I also said, if I come back and I've learned some things and I discover you in a way that was unique to me, that could help other people when it comes to their own struggles with religion, faith, whatever it may be, then I promise I will share those messages. As wrong as people think I am, as dumb as people think I am, as crazy as people think I am, whatever I think and whatever I feel inside, I will not be afraid to share. I didn't think I was going to learn anything. Like, no way. I thought I was just going. Get home, world changes, right? I started discovering things on my own. It felt good. It felt really good to have that spiritual independence and that spiritual self-reliance. And I'm like, man, why don't they teach this more? Like, this is what I needed. Like, I feel like I have this superpower now about going out there and trying things and failing and learning. And none of this is making me a bad person by doing it. It's causing no harm to anybody else. And all it's doing is causing me to learn and getting me closer to God in my own way. And I saw that, I experienced it, and I made that promise. And I was like, gosh, you know what? Now I got to do it because I learned a lot. And like a coward, I buried it for about almost a decade. The one thing I didn't want to do was do what I'm doing now and go on YouTube. Believe it or not. It's like, it's so stupid. Like, why wouldn't you want to just go on YouTube? I don't know. I didn't know if that was the right way or the right medium for me to say what I had to say. You know, I'm not a fancy creator, and I don't want to sell my soul to the devil to get views and all that crap. Like, that just wasn't me. So if that's not you, it almost makes it feel like it's just going to be a waste of time. But time, I realized, was the thing that was stopping me from actually getting anything started when it came to all this knowledge I obtained, and all these dreams, desires, goals, aspirations were just sitting there. Right? I got myself stuck. Stupid. I got myself stuck. I was in the trap. It's already been 10 years. Just get going. And that's what I did. That's how I lost my bet with God. I bet him that there was nothing for me to discover out there in that world doing what I did. And I lost that bet because here I am. So, hope you have a good one. We'll see you back here next time. And remember, keep the faith.